Okay, welcome everybody to one of the first editions of hopefully daily, might try to do weekly whenever I can, installment of news. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare right now. Just trying to do it during my lunch here at work. As you can see, I'm at Taco Bell, so it's not very professional, but it's something. I wanted to touch on a couple of things here today. For Ventura County, not much that I have seen going on. If there's anything that you want me to touch on happening in Ventura County, California, and the nation, and across the world, feel free to shoot me a message via Facebook or comment on this video and let me know, and post a link to the article so I can take a look at it and then give my comments on that story. So I'm just gonna do a couple of things that really stood out to me today. Our first is Ventura County Vans Warped Tour. For everybody, all the music lovers out there, know you're kind of sad about that. I'm gonna post the articles of these stories in the comment section below. But according to the Ventura County Star, they're missing Ventura not because they don't want to do the Vans Warped Tour here in Ventura, just because they're scheduling conflicts with the Ventura County fairground, the fair. Moving on to the nation, number 45 at it again, gives us plenty of news. But he signed a bill today that effectively will allow states to define Planned Parenthood. Here's the thing though. Planned Parenthood's amount of abortions that they do, percentage-wise, and the services that they offer is not as much as a lot of conservatives and pro-birth people like to say it is. Last time I checked, it's 3 to 5% of all that they do. So if you define Planned Parenthood, 95% of what they're doing for not only women but also men, because I've been to Planned Parenthood as well. I mean, I went there and had an HIV STD testing over everything. They gave me a bag of condoms, tried to be safe, at no charge to myself. Why? Because Planned Parenthood's there for services that both men and women can't afford. So to fund them is going to have that access for those people, mainly poor and of course lower middle class that don't make enough money to do all these services, to not be able to have them at all. Because if they can't afford them without going to Planned Parenthood, how are they going to afford them going to a regular doctor? On top of that, even if we do outlaw abortion in this country, it's not going to stop abortions. If you want to stop abortions, then increase money from Planned Parenthood, not only for the services that they do other than abortions, but also help them with giving people condoms and birth control so that they don't get pregnant in the first place. Let's also increase funding for schools to offer sex ed, not only for straight people but also the LGBTQ community, so their STD and HIV rate goes down, but also it avoids pregnancy with that. Like Colorado. Take a look at Colorado, find plenty of examples of where their increased funding for sex ed and went away from the failed abstinence only, and their pregnancy rates have decreased dramatically. That's something that we can do. So a lot of the things that he's doing is not for the benefit of this country. It's to please his base, which much of it has a lot to learn on going outside of the Bible Belt and really talking to individuals, whether they be people of color, women from all different walks of life. They just need to talk to people without being on the defensive. If we just had open discussions about everything, and instead of doing it by party, doing it for the betterment of the people of the world, we'd see a lot of change. Which brings me to my last thing. So this morning I wake up to news on my Facebook feed about number 45 dropping bombs, or dropping a bomb which was almost the size and power of a nuke on Afghanistan. So they're saying that it's an ISIS tunnel. But if you think about it, if you look at the people surrounding it, there's about 95,000 people in that province that would be affected by this bomb in Afghanistan. Now, 95,000 people are not part of ISIS, which we should be calling what they truly are, Daesh. They are no representation in any way, shape, or form of the Islamic religion. So to call them ISIS is to justify what they do as a legitimate state, which they aren't. They're just a bunch of people who have warped sense of what they think is true and is carrying out these atrocities that every single person that has common sense abhors. And dropping bombs on them is not going to solve the issue. If people really look at the issue, it's an ideology. Why does Daesh hate the West? Could it be because of all the wars that we've started, all the bombs that we've dropped that have not only killed what the United States declares as terrorists, but also men, women, and children who are innocent in all accounts? We've dropped bombs in Libya, Iraq, Syria, now Afghanistan. We did wars in Iraq, Afghanistan. Don't forget about we dropped bombs in Yemen. All the while looking at these different countries while forgetting Saudi Arabia commits just as many human rights violations. And let's not forget about Israel's human rights violations as well. But dropping this bomb in Afghanistan, it doesn't help anything. It'll help the military-industrial complex with who we're paying money to make these bombs, the private contractors that are probably going to be sent out in this, the war hawks both in the Democratic and Republican parties will be beating the drums to do more. You already see that with troops being deployed out to Japan for fear of a war with North Korea. It doesn't do anything. What we really need to do and have a discussion isn't about whether we should be going to war or not. It's about why do we feel the need to go to war in the first place. I mean, the last war that we've done to actually help people, that my personal opinion that I've researched, is World War II, freeing the Jews and everybody that was being persecuted by Hitler. From then on, every war we've done is either a false reality of why we went there in the first place, demonizing an ideology that at the base of it is a true ideology that really works to empower the worker, like communism. It's not as big a threat as people make it out to be. And then you have this war on terror that if they view anybody that they don't like, questioning what they do, they label it as a terrorist. Look at the history of revolutionaries being considered terrorists, and the word isn't what the United States government has come for it to mean. I mean, to them, it's anybody. Dylan Roof that killed 9 people in a church in Charleston, I think it's South or North Carolina, one of those two. He's a terrorist. I mean, he set out with an agenda, kills people, but yet when you hear it in the news, he's not considered that. So to really help out, we need to change the conversations that we're having, really change how we discuss these issues, and understand war is never the answer. We've known this. And instead of using our money for war, and propping up the military industrial complex, we can actually use that money to fix the pipes in Flint, to educate our children, to provide health care for every individual in the United States, as well as doing education campaigns, working in concert with other countries, showing the good that we're doing, not as a propaganda piece, but as we worked with this government to help this many people get electricity, get a roof over their heads. That will really help negate the propaganda that Daesh is using to recruit people. That's what it is. And they're using what their ideology is to recruit people. So instead of destroying them, like number 45 says he's going to do and is trying to do, we need to have a discussion on what their ideology is and how to combat that in a non-violent way. You can't fight fire with fire. Most of the time, it just doesn't work. The flames just get bigger. But those are the three big things that I wanted to touch on today. I know there's a lot of things happening in the states across the country, and even in the state of California, at our local colleges and universities. But I am only one person. And I just skimmed my Facebook feed to find these three. But if you have anything that you want me to touch on, you want to have a discussion with, if you are around my area and we can make time, I could turn this into, just instead of me ranting, an actual interview with people. There's a million possibilities that we can take this idea and run with it, because I am sick and tired of turning on the news, and whether it be Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC, them pushing their agendas onto us without hitting the real issue. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think and thought of this video. Let me know, is there anything else you want me to touch on? And when I can, I'll give it a go. But right now, I'm eating my lunch, and then I gotta go back to work. But I hope you enjoyed this first video. Have a great day, everybody.